is my weakness, darling. Your wine is the deepest, darling. I'm sure you know that one little jam is all that I want. Turn to the side or the back or the front. I don't care what you give me, I take it. I take it, darling, darling. I don't want to let you go, darling, darling. I just want to let you know we have something
is SVG.
WhatsApp us or call us at 457-9997. Rise and shine. Let's get ready to take on the day. Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
It's that time of the morning, 7:21 at this time. That time of the morning when we have Activated Mornings Talk Time with Roleza and Dianna. And also Mr. PeeJohn, who gives us his commentary at this time, who is already here with us. PeeJohn, good morning.
Good morning, Dianna. Good morning, Roleza. I hope you guys are having a good day.
So far.
I have a question. I want to pose and engage in a little civics lesson, so to speak. Now,
PeeJohn, what is civics?
Civics is the study of government and how it works.
Okay.
Yes. Can active civil servants / politicians be neutral in their jobs? Our Attorney General, Mr. Grenville Williams, has been named as a prospective candidate in the upcoming elections. Now, Williams is a senior civil servant. He's top of the list of positions in the civil service. He joins about 5 other persons whose names have been publicly called as potential candidates. Like Mr. Williams, they are all currently active public servants. I think in a previous commentary, I named some of them. It seems as if more and more public servants have been emboldened to dive into politics. This is particularly so since the law was recently amended to make it permissible for public servants to become actively engaged in party politics, and thereby undermining the notion of the neutral public service. And that is where the civics lesson comes in. Our system of government is theoretically based on the idea of a neutral public service when it comes to politics. Now, given the divisive nature of politics in these parts, a neutral public service with neutral public servants is necessary. Irrespective of the party in power, the citizens should expect the following from a civil servant. It doesn't matter who you support. Impartiality and fairness. Trust. Element of stability in the government. Enhance service delivery. Protection from political interference. Inclusion of all concerned. And an element of accountability. Now, essentially, for a neutral public service promotes the notion of fairness, trust, stability, and effectiveness in serving the public. It ultimately contributes to a well-functioning democracy and have better outcomes for the citizens as a whole. Now, active politicians in the civil service could well undermine these values. Perhaps in the interest of widening and deepening our democracy, a civil servant who shows interest in active politics should step aside. Can the public trust an active public servant / politicians who is perceived to be on the other side? And that is my rant for the day.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
All right, thanks, PeeJohn.
I look forward to your comments.
Okay. All right, thanks.
Well, before we dive into the discussion on PeeJohn's question, let me again say good morning to all of our listeners. I hope that you're doing well wherever you are, physically and mentally. If you're not, work on that, all right? It's the second month of the new year. Let's work on that. Don't take that any further, right? Roleza, good morning. Yeah, good morning.
All right. So good morning to you, Dianna, and good morning to all listeners, whether on the live or listening to us in traditional radio land. Good morning, and I trust that everybody is doing okay for a Tuesday. You are pushing and you are carrying on, you know? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fight on anyways. So PeeJohn posed that question in. Now, PeeJohn, I believe my answer is yes, I believe they can. The next question, I guess, could be, will they? Are they willing to do that? No, I don't know these people. These people could be very ethical people, which we expect them to be. So I believe, they say all things are possible. So I believe they can perform their jobs, without being biased. But it's up to the individual to decide how they're going to do that, which part they're going to take, what influences they're going to have, and how they're going to let those influences influence them. Yeah, that's how I feel about it.
All right. So
I feel about that.
Yeah, my general thoughts is that I do believe that there are persons who may have maybe partisan, and they can perform their job without bias. However, if I'm going to be very honest, I honestly would prefer for persons who have declared their interest, that as soon as they have declared that interest, that they no longer be employed within the public sector in that sense, right? Because you have declared that particular interest. Now, I'm not saying that in the event, and as of course, as the law was passed recently, for persons who have lost their seats, then I am not opposed to them returning to their particular position before, right? But honestly, because I do have a friend, and I did question, I had to pose a question to him in terms of, so you are considering running for politics. What is the optics of this situation, given that you are currently a public servant? How do you think that is going to look? Don't you think that you really and truly should be in for me, it would have been better if he was in a private capacity and then considered running for office. But it's really the perception of things that you have to look at. And I will be honest that I did have my concerns. But it's not to say that I don't think that the person, actually it's more than one of them, but yeah, it's not to say that I don't think that they can be impartial, but for the optics of things, I would have preferred if they had as soon as they declared to be out of the public service.
And whether they perform the duties without bias or not, there are going to be people who will say that they favor in a particular set over there. That talk is just always going to be there. Whether they do it or not, somebody is going to say that.
Yeah, even in the context, so we see that we have persons putting themselves up as candidates. But I even know recently, I don't even know before, so I feel this anyhow. Even a friend who is a police officer and, becoming a part of what is it? Is a constituency council or something to that effect, but it's still partisan. And when I saw it, it kind of jumped out at me, and I said, I am not sure how this sits with me, knowing that a police officer is aligned. Now, we know that in the past it has happened. We have had, police officers being a part or, wearing what you call those paraphernalia of displaying paraphernalia of a political party. And for me, it should not be that way, because when it comes to policing, I think that police officers should be neutral. Yes, you are going to support a party, and I really don't care which party you support. But do I want to know out front which party you're supporting? No, especially as police officers. So
I get what you're saying with that one. Yeah.
All right. So somebody here on WhatsApp is saying, well, good morning to you as well. So the answer to the commentary for PeeJohn is no, based on being confirmation bias. No public servant can be neutral. Civil servants should work for the country, not for the party in power. All right. I suppose not even just for party in power, but not for party in power or not for party wanting to be in power. Right. So, yeah.
And there you have it. It would be interesting to hear from an actual person, but then again, never mind that.
An actual
person who was in a situation like that, or who is in a situation like that, to hear them speak. But then at the same time, I'm thinking, would it make sense?
Yeah, but the thing of it as well too is that again, I have to go back to this point that we do have to have competent and capable persons to run for these offices, right?
Yeah.
And it's really and truly the question of where are they going to come from, right? Because some persons who are already, let's say in the private sector, they may not want to step forward. Somebody who owns their own business may not want to step forward. So in a sort of a sense, we are going to see many of them coming from the public service because of the fact that they are already in the system, right? They already have an appreciation or understanding of the runnings of how either government ministries work, etc. So it might just be a sort of easy transition for them as opposed to somebody coming in brand new or somebody who's not been exposed. But the reality is the people have to come from somewhere. So, but it's just the optics of things for me.
Okay. All right. All right. So, PeeJohn, there you have it. Now, let me, we're going to just make a few announcements. Somebody talk about some feel-good stories, and I believe these are some of the feel-good stories that we can discuss this morning, right? So, now Solid West is doing another one of their white goods collection. I can't remember if they did one since last year. I don't know. So if you have these old things piled up from Christmas and you've been wondering when are they going to tell us when they're collecting white goods again. So they have said they have released their flyer for their white goods collection, and it begins on Monday the 24th of February, ends on the 1st of March. All right. So let me repeat that. The Central Water and Sewage Authority will be doing their white goods collection starting Monday the 25th of this month, and it will end the 1st of next month. Collection is on your regular garbage day as per usual. So whenever you're accustomed to bringing out your garbage, that's when you will bring out your white goods. Please don't bring out things that you know are not white goods because they will not be picked up. What isn't white goods? Galvanized, wood, steel, and concrete. Galvanized, wood, steel, concrete. Don't bring out any of those things because they will not be picked up, please. That is not white goods. Commercial entities are excluded from this service. Just a reminder. So there you have it. Another white goods collection being done by the Central Water and Sewage Authority.
All right, let me just speak on something there regarding collection. I noticed last week, I think there's something to point out. I noticed last week on my way coming in. Now in Clare Valley, we're used to the garbage truck coming by anytime between 8 and 10, right? But I noticed last week that it came minutes to 6, right? And what it is that I realized is that because persons were not informed of how early the truck was going to come, that to this day, this present day, there is still garbage on the road, right? So what it is that I would really urge is that if the garbage delivery is going to come earlier, now I don't know if it's a private company maybe a private company was being sourced in this case, because we have seen instances where they come very late in the day as well, right? But if there is going to be a change of schedule, I'm not just talking about for the Clare Valley Kittles communities, but I'm talking generally, if there is going to be a change of schedule, that a notice be sent out to individuals, because what it is that normally happens is persons on their way to work, on their way to school, when they, especially for those who, for us, well, for my particular area, we have to actually leave where we are and come down to a central location to drop our garbage. Garbage isn't being picked up directly in front of our homes, right? So for those persons, and to put out garbage at 6 o'clock is still kind of early because of the fact, well, number one, you don't want to, number one, it's already advised that you don't put out your garbage overnight, especially if it's just going to be not in a bin, right? So we're not necessarily going to be putting our garbage overnight because of the fact that we don't want for dogs, etc., to go through it, right? And additionally, it's if you're going to change that schedule, persons are not aware, and then you're going to have instances of just garbage being left at the roadside. So please, to who it may concern, if there is going to be a change of schedule in terms of pickup time, to notify persons to avoid current situation that I'm seeing where garbage is left at the side of the road to this present day because persons weren't aware that the truck was coming earlier than usual. All right. So
Right. Excuse me. So with that, we are going to, it's now 7:35. So we're going to head straight into our traffic talk right about now.
99.9, the heart and soul.